Hi there and welcome back. So we've already gotten finished with styling our main nav bar, as well as added some padding to our site to make it a little more manageable. The next thing that we need to do is adjust our row setup just a little bit. We want some space below each of the rows. So below each row, I'm going to add a margin bottom of 1.5 ems. An em is quite easy to understand. It really is just whatever 100% of your browser's standard font height, it just measures 1.5 of that. And so we have 1.5 ems. We'll save that. We've compiled successfully, and that's added a nice little bit of padding for us. So we need to style up our welcome portion. So we'll just open up a new target of welcome. Get some brackets. Then within that, we need both our heading 1 and our paragraph to behave sort of the same. We need each of those to have a text align of center and a color of white, and also a font weight. We need to lighten that font weight, so a font weight of 200. Refresh. That looks pretty good. Getting there right close to our image. I think we're doing pretty well. Next thing, we need to adjust our thumbnails. We can just take our thumbnails and open up a new target, and inside of that, let's throw in a caption. Anything that is a caption within there, let's give that a color of all threes with a text align center. Close and refresh that. That's looking pretty good. And that's not taking. Oh, I see why. Under our caption, we actually need to add a class. So there is a class of thumbnail and another div with a class of caption. Let's save and refresh that. And as we have it, all of our text is now center aligned. The next thing we need to do is actually adjust these thumbnail backgrounds. Right now they're white, and this is a standard Bootstrap component, and we can do that in the variables.less. So it's a standard Bootstrap component. You can do it in the variables. So we'll just search out thumbnail. And we'll see our thumbnail background is the same as the body background. And that doesn't really work for me, because in this case, I really want to have several areas that are kind of transparent. In fact, our content on our main pages is going to be a transparent kind of white that you can read over, but you can still see the background image. That's important. So to take care of this, we're going to take our thumbnail background, and instead of being at the body background, we're going to call that at the content background. And that variable doesn't exist yet, and that's okay. We're going to take content background and run up to the top of our variables under our colors, and then simply add content background to that, open that up, close it down, and we will throw in our color right here. For our color, we want to again engage that fade out function. So we'll fade out, close that down, white by 35%. Let's save that and refresh. And we can see that after we're compiled, our thumbnails get this nice transparent background. That's looking pretty good. Next, let's take care of our footer. A footer with a class of foot. Open that up, give that a background of 23. We'll also give that a color, so anything within that. Color of white. A font size of 85%. So let's save that and see what it does. Alright, so our footer now has a slightly smaller font size than our normal fonts would be, 85% of those. And we have everything with a nice white color and a dark background. In our image, we have these widgets, right? So these widgets kind of have a little border right here that we need to account for. So let's do the same process. So within our foot, we can actually embed or place elements directly within that. So For our footer, we're actually going to place widgets into that target, because we might also have widgets in another area of our site, like a sidebar, and we want to differentiate these. So within that, we'll open up the widget target and give it a margin top of 1.5 ems, a border right of 1 pixel, solid 1C, 1C, 1C. Go. The last child, so the last widget, we could add anything, and also the first child, we could add a few things. So the last child, we want to give it last child, border right, none. So for all of these widgets, we're anticipating that the border is that each of them are going to have a border right of a really dark gray. But the last widget, we actually don't want it to have a border on the right at all. And so to do that, we include using the less include denotation, and then with just the comma or the colon last child, just like the way you would in any form of CSS, then give that a border right of none. Also within the widgets, let's make sure that our paragraphs within those have a color of A, and then a line height. We're going to adjust this line height since we adjusted the font size of 1.5 em. So let's save that out, and that kind of darkens the color. Then of course on our last widget right here, we don't have any border. That's exactly what we want. For the form, I'm going to paste in a few values here. Under the foot form, we're going to have a box sizing and border box just to make sure in all browsers that we're acknowledging that everything in this is going to stay within kind of that content box. We're going to add paddings of everything of 1 em. We have a background darkening the background of our form of 232323 by 3%. And so we could create a variable here, but we're not going to do that right now. We also have a border radius of 0.5 em and a border of 1 pixel solid, a very dark gray. Save that. And here we have created successfully our client login form, just like we needed before. So let's style up Reddits. So under credits, open this up and give that a background of 1C, 1C, 1C. So this is kind of a very dark gray. We'll give that a border top of 2 pixels solid, and we just need to darken what we had before. So we'll darken 1C by only 1%. So kind of just a very subtle darkening. We also want a little bit of padding, right? So we have a padding 1 em by 0. A color in there of all A, and then a line height of 1.5 ems. Save that and see what we have on the very bottom in the credits section. Get our window down. That's looking good. Pretty close to where we need to be. Let's change out that social. So the social, we'll just keep on going within our less. Add in. There we go. Then any anchor within there. We'll give that a font size of 1.5 ems, so we want that to be pretty big. Margin left of 0.5 ems, so we're going to separate out those a little bit. We'll give those a color of lighten 1C, 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 10%. So you can imagine, just like our darken function darkened the 1C, we're actually just going to lighten that up a little bit. It keeps away from some of the guesswork when we just know that we want something to be a slightly lighter color than another. And then we have a text decoration. We want to make sure and get rid of that anchor text decoration. None. And then we want to make sure that we give the user an indication of whenever they hover over these links. So and hover. We'll change that color up to plain old C's. Alright, let's save that after it compiled. Oh, looks like we're looking pretty good. and we have all of that done. The one thing I do want to do, though, is make sure that these social links are aligned to the right. And since we are only using anchors, and anchors are inline elements, we can simply add a text align under social. All right. We'll compile that. Check out our result. And that's perfect. We are perfectly lined up. All right, so that wasn't too hard at all. We have a fully functional and styled homepage ready for more management from our client. We're looking pretty good. Up next, we'll go ahead and take care of our About page, our inner page content.